This is a requested video that I've been thinking of making a long time, and it's about my dad's wartime experiences back in Finland. It's part of a series that I will make. I will make 3 videos about my dad, my uncle, and how things were in Finland after the war, because I think that will be quite interesting. And I was thinking to have some pretzels, and I went today to pick up my car from service, and I got some pretzels. These are actually kosher pretzels. I never had them before. I live here in Perth, where in an area where we have like all the Jewish retirement homes, synagogue, and schools, and of course then Coles have a lot of kosher food. So let's see how it tastes. And this of course is a kombucha. Okay, I also have then some little notes here that I was thinking to go through, but let's just taste it. Oh, these are good. Now, I was growing up on a farm, and the farmland had been occupied by the Russians after the Second World War, part of a peace treaty. We got the land back after 16 years. The lease of the land was 50 years, but Russians gave the land back because they had the technology to make the atom bomb. So they didn't need to have a occupying army there in Finland, and so our farm was just having trenches in rust, and as kids we were playing in the abandoned Russian bunkers, and some of the bunkers are still left there, and but as I can remember, Dad never talked about the army. He never went on marches. He had some kind of medals, I remember, but I think I maybe seen them one time. It was sort of when the war was finally over. It was thank you for your service. Now you have to remember to go back to work on next Monday. Okay, goodbye. on the Eastern Front, and I will make a separate video about it, and it's quite remarkable. Dad's contribution in the war was also good, but he was in what you said, the coastal artillery. Let me see now. Coastal artillery rangefinder. So if this is Finland, this is Sweden. This is the archipelago between Finland and Sweden. Here you have many islands. There was one strategic island that was stationed on here, and it was named Clinton, and that's in the Baltic Sea. And so what did my dad do here? He was having a speciality because his eyesight was very good. So he was measuring the coastal ranges. I will talk and I will add up pictures here, so you know what I'm talking about. The coastal artillery at that time, to hit a target at the sea, they had to measure the distance, and the distance had to be correct because the target was kind of moving away. And if you are here on the coast, you had to have the right measurements to the right angle. So I was finding here on the internet these pictures that Dad was doing. I think at the time I knew my dad, he was talking maybe 2 times what he did, and but that was kind of really briefly, superficially. After my dad had passed away, we were sort of going through Dad's things that he had, and he had a cupboard where he had an album that nobody had ever seen, and that album was full of military picture. I seen in our family album, I seen a picture of Dad when he was at home in a military uniform, but I never saw those pictures that he was actually on this island. And I don't have access to that album, but maybe when I go to Finland, I can take some pictures of his and show to you. So, what was exactly a coastal ranger's job? coastal rangers, you had to look in the binoculars, if I can say that, 5 meters wide. And when you look in the, you have to look with your both eyes, and then you have like kind of settings that you have to tweak. So you know, you could then accurately measure the distance, and I also found here a really good blog post, so I will just read it to you here. And we're now talking about the coastal ranger here. Looks like the one we had. Looks like the ones we were trained with when I served in Finnish coastal artillery 1977 to 1978. Also, Finnish user instructions labels are visible all over the product. Coastal artillery was the last service line in the Finnish Defense Forces to deploy modern hardware, so we used a lot of World War II hardware when I served there. Gunnery training was done with World War II anti-aircraft gun 76mm or the classic German 88mm. Finland had a military equipment supply agreement with Germany during World War II, so a lot of old German military hardware remained after World War II. This coastal rangefinder could have been used by German military and later on purchased by the Finnish military as war surplus equipment. Final leg seems away being served by Finnish coastal artillery. Final leg seems anyway being served by Finnish coastal artillery, as all labeling is in Finnish. So we're talking about the German World War II artillery 5-meter coastal range finder. There was one thing that Dad did tell me, and that was at the end of the Second World War. Finland did a peace treaty with Russia, so Russia would stop their hostilities. Part of the agreement was to cut all military ties with the German military. That was a problem because Finland had, I know they sort of had some German pilots. And then also in the north of Finland at that time, there was a 200,000 strong German military. That's true. And what was happening there, the peace treaty stipulated that the Finns had to drive out the Germans from Finland, and that was that was a very bitter thing to do because Germany had helped Finland so much. Finland had purchased military equipment and they sort of had helped Finland to fight off Russia before the Second World War started and also during Second World War, but now the war was over and it could only be over when the German troops was driven out from the Finnish territory. This is a thumbnail like a little boat, and just to give you some perspective here, this is the little archipelago where like a small old fortress where my dad was serving. This is the Baltic Sea, and if you come out here you go down to Denmark and you can go out to Norway. At that time there was this a battleship called TIRPITZ, and the TIRPITZ was in the Baltic Sea. And just to let you understand what ship TIRPITZ was, I will read you here. So this is TIRPITZ, and the Wikipedia says like this about TIRPITZ. Like her sister ship Bismarck, TIRPITZ was armed with a main battery of 8 38-centimeter 15-inch guns in 4 twin turrets. After a series of wartime modification, she was 2,000 tons heavier than Bismarck, making her the heaviest battleship ever built by a European navy. So 8 15-inch cannons that could shoot a 800 kilo projectile, I think, or 1,800 pound projectile for 25 kilometers. So and the TIRPITZ had to go past the fortress to go out from the Baltic Sea. My dad, because he was doing this coastal range finding, he he was here, and he could get a close look. My dad told me that when he was trying to come out from the Baltic Sea, and they was passing Dad's fortress. Dad's job was to measure the distance from the cannons to the ship, so they had the right distance for an attack. And my dad was the person that was going to give the accurate numbers. And Dad told me all the 8 15-inch cannons was pointing at the fortress, was coming like meaning that when it was coming here, at any moment they could blow the entire island off the map. Like they could make the island becoming like dust, because the firepower was so immense. Like if you have 8 15-inch guns shooting heavy projectiles at an old fortress that has cannons that are from the turn of the century that could not even reach, waiting to see if the fortress would open fire against it. And they have an order to sink, to give you a understanding. This is like you're coming with a toothpick into a gunfight. Like you have no chance. When my dad was looking into the coastal rangefinder, he was just looking straight into the barrels. 8 barrels pointing at you. So my dad told me, he said, don't even move. Don't even fat. Like hide, don't move, don't do anything. Just went. Because at the time it was state of the art battleship. Later on, in Norway, there was I think it was a British bombing plane that got 2 hits, and it's capsized and sank. So, it's like that was kind of like that was what my dad shared with me. There had also been some disorderly conduct by some military guy there on the fortress that dad got drunk and started to shoot with a weapon and a rifle, and I think my dad said it hit his knee, and sometimes he was always having like pain in his knee, but he never talked about it. One thing he did say that he was having a friend that was really tall. I mean, like over 6 feet, like quite tall guy, and he was his good friend, and he was joking with. They was both joking, and his tall friend say, "Oh, I'm so tall that it probably will hit my head, And then one day my dad said something hit the head, and he was gone. I don't really know where it was exactly, but Dad was telling me. When soldiers then came back from Second World War, they were just expected to go back to normal life. It is not like today that there's an understanding about post-traumatic stress, like a long time after the battle, you can have like problems from it. We was having this really old tape recorder. Like the tape recorder was big like a suitcase with a long tape, and my parents they used to record the kids, and also there was then this recording when Dad was speaking on the phone, and my dad was just stuttering like my mom said that Dad used to stutter after the war, but then he kind of grew out from it. But I could see that Dad had those kind of episodes that he didn't really feel well. My dad was, he was a great dad, but after the Second World War, there was a lot of equipment in Europe left, so my dad bought a Jeep, United States Army Jeep, those ones that you can see in the movies. Then also my dad bought this excavate. It was actually a what do you say, armored car, American armored car. I put the picture in here so you can see, and then he of course there was no guns there, but he modified so that he could do it like use it for agriculture purpose, for putting down like a drainage pipe in the fields. I put in a picture here that you can see, and it was kind of modified. It was sort of modified there that you could use it, and that's work after the war, that he went to farms and he was getting the fields going, took away the barbed wire and like that, and put the pipes down so the fields would not be too soggy or too wet. Yeah, see if I have anything on my notes here more. Yes, even though my dad had that army album full of pictures of him and his friends on this island, he never showed it to anybody. It was kind of hidden away quite well, and yeah. Neither did my uncle talk about the war. I will make a totally separate video about him because it's probably one of the most unbelievable stories I will ever record. And as I remember, when I was living in Finland, there were that Independence Day, and but they were not like people would go out on the streets with their medals on the chest, or your dad's medals or your grandpa's medals, and with our family and the stories I was told about the war. It was just how to survive. video of this in the future. But that's all then depends on how like if I can take picture of the that's all the army album that is there on my brother's farm. I like these pretzels. They're not too salty. Also, I'm thinking of making a video about my own service in Finland. I found some pictures there that I can back up the stories with. Well, I like to make this kind of videos where I can show you some pictures, like prove the story. So guys, today we had the pretzels, and this is from a company called Awesome salted pretzels. Really good. I like them. And then of course kombucha. Wow, that was a little story about my dad. If like as I said, if I find some more pictures that I can use in a video, I will make a follow-up video to this one. And the next one I will make is about my Uncle Harry. And that's something, will be interesting. Well, thank you again. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Plenty space left. And comment to you. Do you like this kind of videos where I tell about the time that has been and how it was, and because I like to do that. Okay, more videos to come. Take care. See you soon. Take care. Bye.